Before the mob came for J.K. Rowling, she was treated like royalty. She created Harry Potter, one of the biggest book series in human history. And for years, she was exactly the kind of person the left usually loved. Until she said the one thing modern progressives are not allowed to hear: sex is real. That was it. That was the great offense. In December 2019, Rowling publicly supported Maya Forstater, a woman who got in trouble for saying biological sex cannot be changed. She said, "Dress however you please, call yourself whatever you like, sleep with any consenting adult who'll have you, live your best life in peace and security," but force women out of their jobs for stating that sex is real. Then on June 6, 2020, Rowling saw an article using the phrase "people who menstruate," and she mocked it. She basically said there used to be a word for that: women. That one statement lit the fuse. She followed up by explaining her view. If sex isn't real, same-sex attraction loses meaning. If sex isn't real, women lose the words to describe their own lives. Then, a few days later, she wrote a long essay. She talked about being a survivor of domestic abuse and sexual assault. She talked about women's spaces. She talked about safety. And for that, the mob treated her like a monster. On top of that, the same actors who became rich and famous from her world rushed to distance themselves. Daniel Radcliffe spoke out. Emma Watson spoke out. Rupert Grint spoke out. Eddie Redmayne criticized her. Activist groups piled on, and the media relentlessly attacked her. And suddenly, the woman who created one of the most beloved fictional worlds ever was being treated like public enemy number one. But Rowling did something most celebrities never do. She didn't apologize, and she kept making the same basic point: women exist, sex matters, and saying that is not hate. She also put her money behind the fight. Rowling donated more than 70,000 euros, roughly $90,000, to For Women Scotland, a campaign group challenging the Scottish government's definition of woman and law. Then came Scotland's hate crime law in 2024. Critics warned it could be used to silence people for stating basic truths about sex and gender. On April 1st, 2024, the very first day the law was in effect, she posted a long thread naming trans activists and using the words she believed were accurate. Then she basically dared the police to arrest her. "If what I've written here qualifies as an offense under the terms of the new act," she said, "I look forward to being arrested when I return to the birthplace of the Scottish Enlightenment." As a result, the police received many complaints. They reviewed it, and they took no action. She dared the government to come get her, and they blinked. On April 16, 2025, the United Kingdom Supreme Court ruled unanimously that the legal definition of woman under British equality law means biological sex. 5 judges, unanimous. The basic position Rowling had been attacked for defending, that biological sex matters in law, had just been backed by the highest court in the UK. And who brought the case, you might be wondering? For Women Scotland, that same group that Rowling helped fund. And where was Rowling when the ruling came down? On her super yacht in the Bahamas, cocktail in one hand, cigar in the other. She posted on X, "I love it when a plan comes together." And while all this was happening, while the mob was screaming for her to be erased, the Harry Potter television series was still moving forward. The same franchise they said she destroyed with her views. Still hers, still running, still valuable. Agree with her politics or not, Rowling had everything to lose, but she stood up for what she believed in, even with the possibility of being arrested. And for that, she has my respect.